The Hall Family Foundation has been intrinsic in the success and the growth of this incredible institution. It is definitely Don Hall's vision and passion for the museum that has led to transformative gifts, whether it's sculpture and the sculpture park that is now named after him, or photography, or also other areas that, like the Asian department, many of these have been touched by the generosity and the philanthropy of the Hall Family Foundation. But this gift takes what is already an extraordinary collection yet to another level. And so with this gift, we are poised to become one of the greatest centers, repositories of the history of photography, and from here to build on what the next generation of photography scholarship will be, and the enjoyment for our public at large of also greatest treasures.
What we knew when we made the special contribution, the $10 million contribution, is that we had an opportunity to build on what was already excellent. And we had a chance to build upon that with someone that we had great confidence in their taste and judgment. And that was Keith and Keith's associates in the photography department, who also are outstanding. So the company's commitment to it has been longstanding. That a lot of that has to do with Don Hall Sr.'s support of the activity.
Don Hall's vision to me is very open-ended. He is profoundly interested in making good things happen. Making good things happen in some sort of logical and organic way. And if that's in part, in our case, for example, the product of taking an existing resource and putting new energy into it, paying new attention to it, getting it out for people to see, sharing it with the public, and that then justifies adding to it, growing it, that process was of enormous interest. Well, the big gift, the $10 million gift that we got essentially 2 years ago, the summer of 15, has allowed us to make a temporary, 2 years, temporary but really serious new push to, again, take a collection that is very good, nationally renowned and so forth, but to bump it up a full notch. Well, we've acquired something like 750 or 800 pieces, so the activity we've been able to do in the last 2 years has resulted in a lot, almost an embarrassment of riches, a lot of really exciting things.
I didn't fully appreciate Keith until I went back to New York and he had a book signing. And he was a rock star. People were lined up outside the door to get the books autographed. And I used to tell people that we have lots of people in the building who are very good at what they do. I don't know that we have anybody in the building who had the reputation, the national, international reputation that Keith has.
So this collection is special in the sense that it is really the vision of a curator, Keith David, that is one of the most respected curators and historians of photography in the country, and if not internationally.
Well, I arrived in Kansas City in the summer of 1979, and the collection was then stored in a warehouse space behind Kaleidoscope. Oh, it was great fun. I mean, the collection really seemed like a bit kind of a buried treasure to me, because I really hadn't heard much about it. But when I actually got to look at all the material, there were so many wonderful things. After about 2 months, 2.5 months or so, my boss said, no, I mean, we're talking about creating the position of curator. I said, sure, that sounds interesting. So I feel incredibly fortunate to have fallen into or been, selected for a role that was a wonderful fit. And, I feel very proud of the fact that I've worked with and for the same folks for nearly 40 years.
Keith's longevity revolves around, one, as a scholar, he's extraordinary. He's written extensively. He has wonderful taste. And he had an enormous influence, not just on the photography collection, but on all of Hallmark's collections, because he was responsible for more than just photography, but also our fine art program.
Between 1979 and 2005, We grew the collection from 650 pieces by about 35 photographers to 6,500 pieces by 900 photographers. So there was pretty considerable development there. Fast forward to 2005, that's the date, that's the year that the company transferred the whole collection. Hallmark transferred the collection to the museum. And I came with it to found the photography department.
I wasn't asking for a gift. I wasn't going to be that presumptuous. I just thought this would be a great partnership. And that the Nelson could have a real, honest-to-God, bona fide, excellent photography program. It makes sense when you have a world-class collection to put it to work. And Don's a good businessman. He knows that you can't have assets sitting idle.
And the reason that the company gave it to the Nelson was because it should be at a museum. By the time the company had made the acquisitions it had made over the years, it was a museum collection. It should be shared with the public. It should be enjoyed by the public.
This acquisition is so exciting because it has given us the ability to build logically and creatively on the great resource that's there. But its whole point is to build a collection that will be even more useful in the future. You know, we've really enriched the collection in a way that, well, is sort of an ideal mandate for 2 years, to go out and try to do the most serious things you can to develop the collection in a way that benefits viewers today and will benefit viewers, I hope, in 40 years, 50 years, 100 years down the road.
And this gift will be first premiered in a wonderful exhibition called The Big Picture. And this big Picture exhibition celebrates highlights of this amazing gift.
Don Hall has been 100% consistent in support over all the years that it started. And he really made this happen with his knowledge.
Having one of the greatest collections that documents the history of photography puts us in a very special place to talk about the 21st century.